Hello, my name is Nishonov Asadbek. I'm from group XP19, and this presentation aims to review the Boeing 737 MAX case from the perspective of process communication and management approaches. The discussion of the case is surrounded on the chronology of the case, process communication and management strategies carried out by Boeing 737 and lessons learned from it. The Boeing company is pioneering in the aviation industry, which was originated in July 1960 by William Edward Boeing. The company was established in Seattle and initially operated as the Pacific Aero Products CO. However, the name was later changed to Boeing to honor the name of the founder. The first aircraft of the company was launched in November 1916, and it was a Model C two-place training seaplane. Boeing, the world's largest aerospace company, Boeing is also the biggest manufacturing exporter of commercial jetlines, defense, space, and security systems. Boeing's success sparked rapidly throughout the 1920s as the company developed several aircraft models, both for the air transportation and military purposes. In 1966, the company built the largest manufacturing facility in the industry, which was called the Everett Factory. This factory manufactured the first wide-body aircraft, popularly known as Boeing 747, and the aircraft has a passenger capacity of 490 passengers and held the largest air travel capacity record for 37 years. The Boeing 747 was also the most sought aircraft in the industry. The model was first introduced in 2011 and emerged into service in 2017. The revolutionary aircraft envisioned to drastically reduce the manufacturing cost and time, and the aircraft would have longer range at a lower operating cost, and the complexity of operations were significantly reduced for the pilots. The devastating tragedy started with the company's contest to compete with its competitor, Airbus. Boeing and Airbus are the two biggest airplane manufacturers in the world, and in 2010 Airbus announced the update on the engine on their most popular model, A320. This model has a single ASL and service made domestic flights. The Airbus introduced a new red turbofan engine to its A320 Neo model, which made the plane 15% more fuel efficient, and with the new evolution, the airplane saved a lot of money. The official launch of A320 Neo was on December 2010, and within 2 years there were more than 2,000 orders. Boeing had similar visions to upgrade the engine on their single ace-lane plane, as it paved a way to generate more revenue with a fuel-efficient option. On 2011, Boeing commercial airplanes figured a way to replace the similar type of fuel-efficient engine as Airbus 320 Neo model to Boeing's 737. Boeing called this model the 737 MAX, and the statement from Boeing indicates that pilots would only need minimal additional training for the new model and can operate the plane with exciting knowledge. Between 2017 and 2019, more than 5,000 Boeing 737 MAX aircraft were ordered by different airlines in the world. However, major concerns began to emerge after two fatal crashes involving the aircraft within 5 months, killing all 346 people on board. On October 29 of 2018, the first incident was witnessed when Lion Air 610 crashed into the Java Sea 13 minutes after its takeoff, leaving on survivors. On March 10 of 2019, a similar incident occurred as another Boeing 737 MAX operated by the Ethiopia Airlines crashed, killing all its 157 passengers and crew members. The Ethiopia Airlines flight 302 took off from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and slammed into the ground just outside the capital city, 6 minutes after takeoff. Multiple investigations took place and came to an understanding that the primary cause from both the crashes was the deployment of the new system called maneuvering characteristics augmentation system, MCAC. Within 2 months of the incident, Boeing announced a software upgrade for the 737 MAX aircraft. However, the MCAC software used in the Boeing 737 MAX was labeled untrustworthy by several pilots. As a reason, Boeing was rather forced to halt all production of its 737 MAX aircraft. Following chart shows a brief overview of the chronology of the entire Boeing 737 MAX crisis. The outcome of crisis mainly is based on how well a company is prepared, proactive, and responsive towards the crisis. It was evident that Boeing didn't have a proper crisis management plan initially or a special team trained for such cases. In January 2020, Boeing announced the new leadership with the replacement of its CEO to David Calhoun. Following to the change in leadership, Calhoun worked on restricting the corporate culture as well redeveloping the strategies. Boeing was famous for the high quality and safety before the two drastic crashes. Their central focus on safety measures and engineering were the main reasons customers around the world trusted Boeing above any other manufacturer. With abundant success over the years, the company's focus gradually transferred from quality and safety to financial return. With Calhoun taking over the leadership, the focus was reverted back to safety as the number one priority. The new set of values introduced after the crisis inspired the employees and uplifted their enthusiasm into bringing back to the lost image. The company's newly implemented strategy mainly focuses on 8 priorities. First one, global scale and depth. Next one, market leadership. Third one, best team, talent and leaders. Fourth one, top corporate citizens. Fifth one, the top quartile performance and returns. Six is productivity and services excellence. Seven was accelerated innovation and eight one design and manufacturing. The final step in the recovery process highlights the rebranding of the services. This is one of the areas where the company has to face the biggest obstacle. An approximate of the 350 of 737 MAX aircraft were still grounded around the world. The U.S. government are urging the rebrand the company as well as the new leadership included rebranding as one of their strategic amendment for the future plans. The main goal for branding the well-known brand is to minimize negative publicity and eliminate the catastrophe image associated with Boeing crashes. Unfortunately, this process is also halted as the global pandemic hit the whole world, shutting down businesses. The chronology of the crisis and the communication implied showed a lot of uncertainty and restrictions from Boeing. Acting quick and dis- decisively is one of the crucial factors in the initial crisis response guidelines. Especially when a crisis costs lives, a company should do more than press releases and posting statements. In the case, Boeing must put people first, as well as priorities should be given to risk communication in coordination with their key stakeholders and response agencies. Hence, it's evident that the company didn't have a proper crisis communication strategy pre-established, and several reports have criticized Boeing for not taking the lead in the response as the manufacturer, and as most of the response related to the investigation and the finding were led by the airline and the civil aviation authorities. The sort of behavior doesn't exemplify a company's concerns of its consumers and doesn't help it regain its reputation in the market. Another concerning issue with Boeing crisis management approach is their lack of transparency. Boeing failed to communicate important information regarding embedded automate software within their aircraft to the key stakeholders such as the pilots. Boeing didn't reveal the function of the automate MCAC software in its configuration until there were significant accusation from the pilots and evidence from the flight data recorder of the crashed aircraft. Such approach to potential hide crucial information impacts the company's reputation in the industry as well as its trustworthiness. No mention of any specific crisis management teams was found on any of the company statements, press releases, and briefs to manage the crisis. Their involvement in dealing with the crisis was limited to technical assistance, which showed that the lack of distinct department of or team for managing crisis within the company. Following to this, the company also had a pilot system of employee communication monitoring. The reports and case studies have no mention of Boeing having a function to monitor employee communications. An effective communication system is an important factor in risk management. Boeing would have reduced the risk of the manufacturing malfunctions noted from the ground staff if there was a proper system to manage internal reporting. The most important lesson learned from this case is the importance of repairing the communication gap among employees. Boeing had failed to provide the clear and independent line of communication, and this could be the cause of the crisis. Boeing's initial message after the two crashes was that its 737 MAX aircraft were safe for air operations. However, Boeing's prior advice to the US FAA to ground its fleet of Boeing 737 MAX and to halt all its production were totally opposite to its initial claims. In public perception, such approach showed that the company's internal decision-making framework is weak and uncertain. In any crisis scenario, a company should stand accountable throughout and stand by the decision taken by the management. Another key lesson learned from this case is the importance of transparency. Excluding critical information from stakeholders isn't only unethical, but it also affects the credibility of the company, which was the case in Boeing. The company's decision to hide the issue of its automated MCAC software in the initial stage is one of the biggest mistakes Boeing did. The key takeaway from this case study is to design a certain well-trained team from crisis communication management, and the need to prepare policies, procedures, and technical capabilities with every possible outcome, and response actions are highly effective during crisis. Crisis in an inventable part of cooperation life cycle which can emerge unpredicted. As a reason, it's imperative that major companies such as Boeing established a crisis management framework to deal with potential crises and risks associated with its business. Analysis of the case showed the company's failure to communicate both internally as well as externally, at the same time failing to address critical aspects such as accountability, authority, and transparency. The incident served as a critical reminder for the aviation industry regarding the importance of an efficient crisis management framework and the need of projecting potential risks and approaches to deal with such scenarios prior to developing and launching a product in the market. This was the case study about Boeing company, and thank you very much.